Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome back to another video on Starseed Academy. My name is Jenny. So today I really want to come to you with something that feels really important and really very timely, and that is to talk about Queen Elizabeth and her passing. I know that quite a few of you have messaged me and asked me what my take on this is, because I've talked about her before, and we'll talk about that in a second. I've talked about her before when it comes to being like a head of a reptilian group. But I want to actually preface this video with a different tone. I just want to say that, Queen Elizabeth, regardless of her truth spiritually speaking, to her family, she was a mother and a grandmother. And so I have so much compassion for those people that have lost someone dear to them, and her friends. Outwardly, she was, very loving and caring and supportive. And we're seeing that coming up now all over the news. So it's interesting because there's the human aspect to this, and then there's this whole other aspect. And I think it's important to talk about both. So we're going to do that today. Okay, so what I want to do is actually, I don't have any notes. I don't know why I keep looking at my book. It's just a placeholder for my microphone right now. So I wanted to channel this live, like as I'm recording it, and receive it at the same time that you do, like receive this information together, and just bring you along with that as I find out for the first time kind of some of the real truths regarding Queen Elizabeth. And I have questions about like her life and like how this all started for her, and what kind of a life it created for her, and what kind of a counterpart she was having with this other, maybe darker, ego-driven, service to self kind of being. And what happens now, like what happens to her now, what happens to us, like is this going to affect our timeline? I just have so many questions, and I know you all do too. So let's jump into this video. Before we do though, I just want to ask you to please subscribe to this channel for new videos here every Sunday. Follow me on Instagram for brand new content. And a quick shout out to my membership group. It is so amazing and so supportive to have a community of starseeds that are also awakening souls on the planet at this time. If you're looking for community and you're looking to hang out with me once a week live on Zoom, then join the membership group, and the links for that are below. Okay, so the first thing that I did before turning this on, like before hitting record, was to set up a sacred space. I use Archangel Michael on my left for protection, and I use Archangel Raphael and Archangel Haniel for different things. I always work with those three angels. But then I called in some extra protection today, asking Archangel Michael to also not just do his blue light of protection like usual, but also to do his invisibility cloak, because some of this is really sensitive information, and there's a lot of, once you try to connect with it, there's a lot of things on the other end of it that could be, follow you back home kind of thing. And I definitely don't want that. And then I also, of course, connected with God's source and have that white light that's pouring down. So let's jump right in and connect now with the Galactic Federation of Lights, Council for Humanity. So calling in the Council for Humanity, please connect with me. Please let everything that comes through in this video, all the information, be divinely true and divinely orchestrated for the information that we need to know now for our highest good. Allow us to see what's going on behind the curtains and help us to understand it in a way that is clear and true and detailed. Okay, so I'm connecting now with the Council for Humanity. So the first thing that they're saying is that before we can talk about Elizabeth's death, in the here and now. They want to talk about her history. Okay, so seeing a vision of Elizabeth at a younger age. I'm going to see if I can get a more specific age because it's hard to tell with her. They're showing me the number 50, but it's not her at 50 years old. It's like 50 years ago. So what would that have made her? 50 years ago, I think she would have been like 40 something, 6 maybe. I don't have that information, but we can research these details later together. Okay, so she should be mid 40s, I think, 50 years ago. That makes sense. I think when she died, she was 96 or 97. I can't remember. So 46, 47, somewhere in there. Okay, and it's getting more specific. Now I'm seeing that it was 50, no, they're saying 50 years ago again. They're just trying to show me the year. Okay, so 50 years ago, then that would have been like, oh my God, why is math happening today? That would have been like 1972, I guess. Okay, so in that year, so 50 years ago. So they're showing me that she is a very dedicated like mother, but even almost more so a dedicated monarch where she takes like it so seriously. Like she feels like if she does not uphold the responsibilities of being a monarch for, England, that, and more than England, because her monarchy stretches to Australia and Canada and like a lot of the UK. It's a big responsibility, but she almost makes it heavier than it needs to be. And she thinks of it like, if I let anything slide, then it's all just going to fall away and it's going to be all my fault. And so she's extremely like, I would say like stressed out, I guess, about this. Like, and there's something else that's going on. And again, I don't know. I'd have to research this. There's something else that's going on 50 years ago with the monarchy. Like they've hit hard times in some way, either the public view of them or potentially, I think it's a combination of like public view, relationships with other countries, and potentially even something financially. Because if I remember correctly, I think that the monarchy is actually supported by like England's finances. Like I don't think that they make money doing what they do. I think it's all supported by like the country. So something has happened and it's really worried her. Potentially multiple things, because I'm seeing like it's about the way that they view her okay, now I'm seeing her as a little girl and like her father. And he was the one that put all of this super serious responsibility on her shoulders. So that was so it's just a little bit of an understanding of who she is as a woman, as a person. Like she was a person first. This was before any kind of attachments happened. She was overworked, very dedicated to mostly her job, if you could call it that, and very, very like overwhelmed or stressed out or anxious about changes and things that were happening. So let's research that. Maybe something around 1972, give or take a couple of years, that has really like overwhelmed her. Okay, so in that space, in the space of feeling like she's about to lose it all, like she's about to just like completely like F it up in such a huge way that it's going to let the whole country down. Like there's something really, really big happening, okay, with her personally. And all of this like low self-confidence and doubts, a lot of doubts. So in that space, so just imagine that this woman is in that space and she has all of this responsibility and all of these things on her shoulders and is like totally depressed and anxious and freaking out. Everything's going wrong. That's when she was approached at that time. And so I want to get some information about who approached her with this reptilian energy, okay? I'm seeing that it was a man. And a man that I'm hearing the words, he is younger. He is older than he looks. Like he's being kept young in a way, like a longer lifespan. But he looks to be like probably around, the age that she was, maybe in his 40s, maybe late 30s, 40s. It's hard to tell. And he's coming in very slick, okay? Like black, like silky, shiny jacket. I keep seeing his shoes for some reason. I have no idea why, but they're like really pointy, like super pointy dress shoes, super like slick jacket. Came in with like, the word is slick. I'm seeing like black, shiny. His hair is even back. He's got like a hat on. He comes in and he has a meeting with her, and it's private, like a one-on-one meeting with her. I don't know how he got that meeting. If it's important, the information will come through. But what's important is that he had this meeting with her. I'm now hearing or feeling, sometimes I don't know if I'm hearing, seeing, feeling, knowing, psychic gifts really overlap. But I'm getting the knowingness that this is somebody has a German connection. Okay? He doesn't have a German accent though. So he's got this German connection in some way. Don't know what that is. Again, just allowing things to develop. Okay. Going back in to ask for more details about this. So this man with these German connections, I'm hearing hereditary. Hereditary line back to Germany, but he obviously hasn't lived there in a long time because I'm not really hearing an accent. But there's more to the word hereditary. When it came through, it was heavy with meaning. And then I saw the eyes of like the slit pupils. So it's like he has a hereditary or family line of hosting these reptilian beings within their own bodies and homes. That just got added in. Okay. So he is seeing Elizabeth he's seeing her as a weak woman, okay? And he's taking advantage because she has such a powerful place, like a place of power and leadership, and he's taking advantage of her. And he's not being truthful either about what it is that he's offering, okay? So let's see how he proposed this to her, if I can. Oh, he's got such a creepy energy. I had this vision of him like leaning back and he has this like black coffee that he's sipping on and he just oozes ego and like smugness. Like he just, I don't know, it's gross. So he tells her it's a business proposition. That's how he first says it, business proposition. To secure the monarchy with a line. He's making it seem like he's a head of a council, which maybe he is, or a leader of some kind of like powerful political group, which again, maybe he is. Maybe it is that in a way. Technically, like, reptilians are their own political group and they have their own power. And anyway, the way that he comes with her is he's not saying alien in any way. He's saying I have this powerful group and it's this political group of leaders, foreigners. Funny, right? With the play of words. And what they have to offer, if you align with us, if you align yourselves with us, then what we can offer you is strength, power, longevity, steadiness, structure, like stability, something like that. And that's exactly what she wanted. And she wants it for the monarchy, right? Like, again, this is bigger to her than her own life. It's crazy how important it is to her, how serious she takes it all. If somebody didn't think that she was serious in her job, she's extremely dedicated and serious to the point of agreeing to this. So the way that that's the way that they say it to her. And then her concerns are, if we align with somebody, it will look weak. The monarchy needs to stand on its own. And so then they say, no, don't worry. This is secret. This is a secret alignment. Why can't I think of a better word than alignment? A secret no, I guess alignment is the word, like a secret aligned arrangement. They're going to align their forces together. And she's like, well, why do you want to help us if you're not receiving anything from it, if it's a secret? And he says, well, what they want to receive from it is the relationship with the queen. And he builds up her ego. He fluffs it up, and she's susceptible to that for sure. Like, it's such an honor, and we want to be, in a close relationship with you, and know about, the ins and outs of your duties. And he puts it on thick, like, we know how difficult the position, we can't even imagine how difficult your position is and all the responsibilities and everything. If we could just lighten your load in some way, that would be our honor, right? So again, it's not, she doesn't understand that it is alien beings. She just knows that it's this strong political group, and powerful leaders. Okay, so when does she find out? I'm going to ask the Council for Humanity, because I see her being extremely tempted. She talks to her husband about it, and because of his descent, is he German? I feel like something to do with his own, I don't know if he is. Okay, again, I need to research all of this, and I will, because I'm so interested right now. But there's something about her husband's culture that makes him really interested. Because remember, that man that I told you about has like some kind of German connection. They have something in common. So now he's won over the husband. It's that much more easier to win over the Queen, Elizabeth. Okay, so let's find out then, when did she find out that it was alien? I'm hearing the words literally at the very last minute. And I'm also seeing a larger picture of understanding happening for me now. Like, when we think about the people that are still alive, that are currently entangled with this, maybe you think celebrities. I know that Justin Bieber has a lot of like videos of him turning into like this shape-shifting reptilian. So celebrities, but also like, politicians, Trudeau and all of these things. If it's not a hereditary line in their family and something that they grew up knowing about, and if you grew up knowing about something as a kid, it seems they probably make it seem really cool and awesome, right? If you're like a celebrity and you're on the outside, or like Queen Elizabeth, who was actually on the outside of this, for whatever reason, I don't feel like her father, or what happened, in the monarchy before was aligned with this. It happened with her. Okay, like she was the first one, not the only one, because then I saw her, is it her son? Prince Andrew. Definitely. And her husband, and, okay. Her children and her husband for sure, potentially even more, maybe some of her grandchildren. I don't know for sure. Okay, so the point is that they don't, because she was a flight risk, they did not tell her into the very last minute. And I am seeing this scene of like a ritual, like a ceremony or a ritual, where she's taken, and told to dress. It's all in black. I'm seeing a black car with tinted windows, and her and her husband are going, and they're in black, and they're in disguise in some way. And it's the middle of the night, and they're being whisked away to somewhere to complete this ritual, which is not in England or the UK. I feel like this is happening in Germany. There's some kind of origination point there, or headquarters there. Okay. And that's where she goes. I'm seeing like, limo to plane, like it's all very discreet, and it's all very hush hush. And she's really grateful for the discretion, because she doesn't want anyone to know about this, because she needs the monarchy to look so strong, like it's standing on its own. She has no idea what the real reason for all of this discretion is. And then within that ritual, again, they start the ritual, and she's giggling in it. She's almost like laughing, like thinking like, oh, the Masons or something, like, oh, it's like, I feel like there's a lot of men there. There are some women, there's a lot of men, because I feel or hear her thoughts, where she's like, oh, this is, these silly boys and their games, and their brotherhoods, or in their clubs. And she thinks it's all just like almost like just a part of the ritual, like a hazing ritual, or like, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like boys will be boys because it's all, there's this big circle on the floor and there's like some kind of glowing light in the center and they are all surrounding it in these like, it's literally like a movie, like um black with like a red lining, like a silk red lining, hooded like cloaks. And they're in a circle. Ooh, I'm sorry, I'm getting chills just because I'm connecting with such like darkness, it feels like. Okay. So the ritual, there's music involved, there's fire and candles involved, and there's a lot of chanting. And in the circle, there are layers of these cloaked figures. There are some women, but not many. Layers of these cloaked figures. And each circle of people is like an energetic something, connection, a circle of energy. And the chanting of these, like it sounds scary. Like it almost sounds like, if you would want to chant to like raise a demon, it sounds like that. And they are chanting in the circles. And so what I mean by that is the outer circle is doing one thing, and then the next one in is doing another. And the number of circles matters too. I'm seeing the number like 13. 13 is big. That's so weird because of how we think of some people think 13 is evil. I mean, I've never really thought that, but anyway, it's like there's a number 13 happening. And that seems important. And I don't really know in what ways. I think in a lot of ways it's coming up, like the way that they situate things, the number of people in the circle, the number of circles, the number of candles, the number of something. I don't want to connect to what they're saying because there's like a lot of power in that. It'll still keep going, right? Yeah. So the energy in the room, it just is building and building and building until it's frantic. It's frantic. It feels like, I don't know. It's really creepy. It's so hard to put words into it. But all of these voices, I don't even know if there is music. I think what I was hearing was all of these different rows of voices saying these different things, and they get louder and louder, and it feels like this. And all of the energy is being directed into the center of this empty circle. And there are things like on the floor, some kind of writing. I think what they're saying in writing, okay, it's some kind of an ancient tongue. It's like a reptilian language. And it's their own, okay, I'm getting more information. This is actually a reptilian ritual and ceremony that their own, like, I guess they also have like a monarchy in a way, because I'm seeing that they also understand what it means to be a royal. And there's a lot of very like bigger than the reptilians we have here on Earth, like big dragon style or Tyrannosaurus Rex style beings. Check out Instagram for a post about reptilians with more information that I did. So it's actually coming from them, this ritual, these words, this language, and it's all pulsing, 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 building, building, building. And when the clock hits a certain time, a certain hour, I don't know what it is. I'm not being shown the time, but there's a time. Anyway, when it all clicks and everything aligns, everybody just hushes and it gets so quiet. And then they open up a pathway for her because it was all closed circles. Everything goes quiet, like immediate. And then instantly this pathway opens of people like stepping aside. And there's this pathway. And she goes first before her husband. And she walks nervously to the center of where all of this is happening. And then it snaps closed again. And her husband's on the outside and now he can't really see what's happening. There's a lot of privacy. I almost see them holding their cloaks open and blocking what's happening. I don't know why. I think it has to do with the reptilian that appears in the center of the circle, wanting to not be seen in its state that it comes through, because it comes through in a weakened state. Because in order for it to come through onto 3D, it has to do something. I don't know, it has to become less of itself somehow. I don't know, understand exactly, but there's something, and they're all holding their cloaks up and they're blocking what's happening in the center. And she thinks that in the center of this ritual, there she is. And she thinks that it's a man. It is a man. It's a human. Okay, there's a human man in the center of the circle. And he also raises up his cloak and almost wraps it around her. And then he transforms into a reptilian right there on the spot. And then she's there, super vulnerable. Somehow she's already agreed to this. She signed a contract. She's already, it's too late. So there's some trickery in a way to get her to sign that contract before she really truly realizes what's going on. And then I don't know how, I want to know how the connection happens, but to me, it just looks like the reptilian turns into mist and is absorbed into her. Like it goes hazy and like it goes right into her. And I see her eyes change and she gets really stiff. And then it's already done. So this isn't the case for everyone. Like I said, there are lots of politicians like Trudeau, call him out a couple times, that are willing and do know. They know exactly what it is and they're very willing. However, they're raised as children to think that this is normal and important that they continue on the legacy. So in a way, they're still coerced. And in this case of Queen Elizabeth, she was given all of the information, signed some kind of contract that she thought was about like business, monarchy, leadership, politics, and aligning herself as the queen, not as a person. And then it was a lot more than she bargained for. So over the years, her personality became eroded by this, and I see it getting sinking to the background. Her children bring out her humanness, her family brings out her humanness, and she's given opportunities to come forward, but it would feel very much like being a prisoner within your own body and not being the one that has the say when you get to be at the forefront or the background. And even when you are at the forefront, you're sharing your body with this other soul. It's like two souls in one body. That's what it feels like. And I'm seeing like nodding, which is my sign from spirit that that's true. So then the next question was, what happens then when she dies? Because I mean, that explains a lot of, okay, this reptilian influence. It was then too late. She signed this contract. It's a part of her. She is then making decisions from that place when it comes to her country, when it comes to everything. And somehow having a royal here in the third dimension helps the reptilians gain footing, politically speaking. Yes, because then they can, manipulate the queen's meetings and things that happen. I mean, there was so much manipulation that was happening to her, but also by her, from her. And like I said, her personality or her spirit or her willpower was eroded over decades to the point where it, like, very little of her spirit was left. Her soul was still there. I don't mean her soul. I mean like her fiery spirit it's just been eroded, right? It was still there partially, but there was something else that I wanted to say and I forgot. Oh, okay. So then when she passed away, I was shown a vision of the souls separating again. So for her, this is a great relief. For the true Queen Elizabeth, this is a huge, great relief. And then the reptilian, they go to separate places. they, wherever you believe that is, I mean, everyone's, that's a whole other video. I can't talk about that. That's too big, but they go into separate places, and the reptilian goes to where it needs to go, the soul, once it dies, and then she's going to this whole other place. She's going to be having a lot of healing necessary, big time. Like on the other side, oh God, like so much to find her again, because it's almost like she's been like eroded. So she needs to build back up her soul. That word keeps coming through, so it must be like the best word, English word, to describe what happened to her. But now she's being built back up. So for her, this is a beautiful relief. I feel like she wanted to go years ago, but being paired with a reptilian, it didn't want to let go of that place. And so it probably tried to like prolong her life as much as possible. And who knows what that could entail. I know a lot of people talk about adrenochrome. I mean, I think probably, yeah, like the reptilian is gonna, that's it. If that's its diet, it's gonna try and get her to not only eat like a human, but to eat like a reptilian, so that they both are in as good of health as they can be and prolong their lives as much as possible. So okay, so now that she's gone, there's this separation of souls. So now what's coming up is like the next person to step into this throne is also somebody who is paired with a reptilian. And I believe that that's one of her sons. So it's really like, when I say, well, how is this going to change Earth? I mean, I know that she's like the head and everything, but it's still going to be a similar kind of situation on the throne. It is. So I don't really know that we're going to see a whole lot of change. I know a lot of people were hoping that this meant that there was going to be a lot of change. Let me just tune in and see what change, if any, is going to happen. I'm just seeing like the person that's taking the throne next, the human and the reptilian, are a lot more aligned. So there's a lot more of like greed within the human to start that matches that egoic service to self greed. So it will be someone on the throne that tries to do as much as they can for themselves. Like, how can I get extra money and fame and power and, people looking at me like I'm just the shit. And then because there's a renewed energy on the throne, there might be some extra activity happening with like, I'm seeing, what is that organization? The World, UNN, United Nations, UN, the United Nations. I'm seeing something happening with the United Nations and the new king. Something. I don't know what it is, but so some fresh activity, and someone who's got more of that spirit already within them. So, but as for Elizabeth, I think a relief. So I don't know. What do you guys think about this? That was not really what I thought was going to come through. It was so visual. But what did you think? Let me know if it resonated with you. What do you think's going to happen now? That's all I'm being given for like the moves that the new king is going to make is something to do with the UN. I don't know what it is though. Yeah, I'm seeing like something to do with uniting nations. So maybe the UN or something in the spirit of that, but obviously for like the reptilian agenda. So we're still going to have one on the throne, and that's okay. That's okay, because the old system is crumbling, and we are, this wave of awakening is getting to larger and larger degrees. We're okay. It's going to be fine. It's not going to change the trajectory of the awakening. It's just something interesting that's happened. Okay, so maybe not as big as we thought. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I want to remind you guys, oh my gosh, yes, I want to remind you to check out the link in the description below for Psychic Light training. We are getting super close to the start date. I'm so excited about it. This is 12 weeks of training in the psychic arts. Click the link, read all about it. It's going to be a nice, beautiful, intimate group where we are getting together once a week live and training ourselves in all of the clairs, 4 weeks of channeling, astral travel, so that you'll be able to connect like I just did and see and hear and feel and know what you are receiving. If you have a spiritual business, this is going to help you out so much. It totally changed my business, channeling especially. And then also personally, it really skyrocketed my spiritual growth. So I really highly recommend investing in your intuition. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. Check it out. I love you all so much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And before you go, please remember, listen to your heart and the quiet voice within, because you are so much more than the body you are in. Thank you, beautiful star seeds. Have a great day. Bye.